Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking
categorically,
a question. Don't
Mr.
be
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a
question.
question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. Today's topic is Stairway to Instability. And frankly, in more ways than one, based on what's been happening since Installation Day in January of 2021. You know, Stairway to Instability, it's based on, if you will, a takeoff on the song Stairway to Heaven, put out by Led Zeppelin in 1971. An incredibly famous song. And many people have tried to discern what the lyrics were really about. The common thread in folks that have done analysis of the song is Stairway is seemingly a song about the inevitability of death that's really a song about greed. Well, what could be more appropriate than a song that really exemplifies what Basement Joe Biden's all about? Greed. Yeah. The Bought Off Lamestream fake media doesn't want to talk about this, and we're going to go into greater depth on these issues on our Operation Freedom Briefing, which I used to post here on YouTube at this time on Tuesdays, but because of the censorship issues, I can no longer do so without being deplatformed. So, by the time you're done watching this video, if you go to davejanda.com, go to the homepage. On the right-hand side, a little bit down, it says Operation Freedom Briefing, where we go into great depth on various issues, depth that I can no longer go to on this site. But it's interesting with this instability issue, right? And Stairway to Heaven, Stairway to essentially greed, as many of the folks that have done the analysis on the song. I mean, just look at Hunter's laptop, right? I mean, if you truly look at what's on that laptop, it shows that as far back as 2015, $1.5 billion was transacted between the Biden family and a foreign entity. Let's just call it China. And there were other deals with Ukraine and various Middle East countries. So yeah, Stairway to Heaven, really a song about greed. Yeah, well, it's really, it's all about the Bidens. But hey, Biden isn't that great on stairways, right? He might be great on the money laundering activities. But when it comes to Stairway, I mean, you saw it when he fell up the stairs recently 3 times to the point where his shoulder blade on the left was pinned to the stairway like he was playing Twister, a game we used to play when we were kids. I'm old, but it was a game we played as kids. The guy is a laughingstock. And what else is a laughingstock is his, quote, whatever you want to call it, foreign policy. You talk about a stairway to instability. Can you imagine if another president got into name-calling with the head of another significant power in the world? We just saw this with unstable Biden. What did he called Putin soulless? He said he was soulless and he was a killer. Putin countered, well, it takes one to know one, right? But, you know, when January 2021 rolled around, based on what happened in November of 2020, it was going to be a stairway to heaven. Oh, the progressives and Joe's going to walk that stairway and he's going to reestablish wonderful relations. And it's nirvana. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke, and our country's a laughingstock. To the point where Putin, he might be many things, but he's not dumb. This from Zero Hedge. Soulless Putin challenges killer Biden to a live debate. Frankly, I would pay for that, to watch that. I don't do pay-per-view. I don't. But this, if there was pay-per-view, I would. Again from Zero Hedge. In addition to the tit-for-tat slur trading, Russian President Putin told a Russian state television reporter, quote, "I just thought of this now. I want to propose to Biden to continue our discussion, but on the condition that we do it basically live, as it's called, without any delays and directly in an open, direct discussion. It seems to me that would be interesting for the people of Russia and for the people of the United States," end quote, a live TV debate. He wanted, quote, "I don't want to put this off for long. I want to go to Taja this weekend to relax a little, but we could do it tomorrow or Monday. We are ready at any time, convenient for the American side." You can imagine how that would turn out, right? I mean, you did see this press conference that was 65 days in the making, right? Every president over the past 100 years that has had a press conference, it's usually within 10 to 30 days. I think the longest up until this point was George W. Bush at 33 days. This was 65 days. And when he gets there, only 20 reporters were allowed in the room. They had already submitted their questions. He has a sheet that he's staring at, right, on the podium with the people's names on it, their pictures, what number to call them on. And he had a book with all the questions that were already going to come to him with the answers that he would be reading. It was a unmitigated disaster. If you're a freedom-loving American. Now, if you're Putin or if you're Xi, oh, this is like, yeah. The door is wide open. So Biden is calling names at Putin. And then there was, while this was all happening with this now press conference, this stairway to instability when he's not falling up the stairs, his administration is meeting in Alaska, right, at the same time with China. Another disaster. Biden's foreign policy disaster in Alaska with China was worse than initially reported. Now remember, China has leverage over the Bidens and over our country, therefore. As I said, $1.5 billion, this is noted on the laptop, was transacted between China and the Biden family. The Chinese, this from Joe Hoff, the Chinese destroyed the Biden gang. They know they are weak and led by a senile old man. Communist Chinese Party Foreign Affairs Chief Yang Jiechi to U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, said it right out in public, quote, "The United States does not have the qualification to say that it wants to speak to China from a position of strength," end quote. Yeah, because they're the ones who transacted the deal back in 2014 and 2015 for the $1.5 billion. They got them. They're leveraged. And so is every American because of this. Yeah, it is a stairway to instability. The conservative Treehouse reported it this way. To say the first major diplomatic summit between the United States and China was an unmitigated mess would be an understatement. Apparently, U.S. Secretary of State Tony Blinken thought it would be of value for the domestic audience if he was to lambast the Beijing delegation in public and on camera. His efforts were a complete fail as the Chinese knew everything was presented for domestic consumption, so the Red Dragon threw fire right back into the obviously stunned and unsettled U.S. Secretary. Overall, this was a pathetic, weak, and sophomoric, feeble attempt at diplomatic confrontation, while being disrespectful and completely devoid of fact points to frame the purpose of the diplomatic meeting. The first rule in any negotiation or confrontation is to use the behavior, the accepted empirical action of your adversary against them. And while all this is going on, there's the problem in the southern border. That if you watch that press conference, Biden acted like, this was all Trump's thing. What? Biden and his administration were the ones who rescinded the stay in Mexico policy that has led to a 700% overpopulation with the, quote, kids in cages reinstituted that Obama had put into effect with Biden in their administration. You're going to get none of this in the bought off lamestream fake media. And you need to know it. That's what we're here for. I do my best with what I can do, with the censorship protocols that are in place on YouTube. This is why DaveJanda.com is so important. Operation Freedom Briefing is free. It's like it has been for YouTube, what we've used to do on YouTube. It's now there at DaveJanda.com. We put up every Tuesday. But we hope you'll become part of our Freedom family with all of our extra shows, our WTF Geopolitical video show, our Insider Insight interview where we bring someone forward behind the curtain to discuss issues, our healthcare policy series, our Department of Advanced Research show hosted by Nick Ruiz, our contributing editor section, our archives for all of our shows, including the podcast to our Sunday radio show. Now, the radio show is free, live. You go to DaveJanda.com, Sunday 2 to 5, hit the Listen Live button. It takes you to Wham Talk 1600 streaming service, hit the play button, and you're with us. But if you miss the show, if you're a subscriber at DaveJanda.com, biggest bang for the buck in all the internet, $9 a month. If you try it for a month, if you don't like it, get rid of it. But I'm not sure why you would, because there's no reason to have $100 and some cable bill when you're getting propagandized over that cable. When we can give you the facts and the data and the information, $9 a month. We hope you become part of our Freedom family. Subscribe to our channel at DaveJanda.com, and in so doing, you'll have access to the podcast of our radio show, plus the archives of every radio show all the way back to October 2010, with incredible guests and incredible analysis, plus the archives to our WTF show, our Insider Insight show, our healthcare policy series, and the like. I thank you for joining me today, and until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Head over to DaveJanda.com for the Operation Freedom Briefing. It's free. You will not be sorry that you did so if you go there. Thanks for your time today.